Modders introduced groundbreaking bullet penetration and even ricochet mechanics. They've come up with even more must-have animations for player actions in the game, further enhanced the game's visuals, and implemented some game-changing features into Fallout. This year's month of September was an incredible month in New Vegas's modding history, so let's take a deeper look and go over every single mod worth your time from this month. This mod is here to remind you that bullets do, in fact, go through things. Revolutionary, right? So, what does it do? Well, it's simple. Bullets can now penetrate cover and ricochet like you're in an action movie. Don't let the mod's description deter you. It's actually well thought out. Every projectile or ammo type has its own penetration and ricochet settings. Some will go through multiple surfaces, but others won't. Also, upon going through a surface, the bullet is likely to deviate. And depending on the surface of the object being shot at, the bullet will do less damage after going through. Using this along with bullet tracers seems to break the bullet penetration on NPCs, but it works fine on static objects. It also seems that bullet penetration just stops working when used alongside the distance-based damage model. All that aside, the one issue I have with this mod is that you can shoot NPCs through cover, but they cannot do so, or at least not intentionally. The AI simply won't shoot at you if they cannot see you. Without a solution to this problem, combat will unfairly shift in your favor. But this mod will add an extra layer of strategy and allow you a more tactical approach in gunfights regardless. When it comes to bullets and how they ricochet, only some bullets do so, and it's heavily dependent on the surface of the object your bullets are hitting. Concrete has the highest chance of ricocheting bullets, and the angle at which they do is variable, but it's consistent enough that you can utilize ricochet in combat. Speaking of bullets, the uranium bullet casings mod enhances the custom meshes and textures for bullet casings redone. The original mod visually overhauls all 4 casings in the vanilla game with extreme detail. Orgasmic Sneeze's add-on makes it so every weapon of every caliber type has their own custom textures and meshes now, making each spent casing distinct based on the weapon and ammunition type used. It includes a FOMOD installer for auto detection of compatible mods. I noticed that the 20 gauge shells are their yellow color on the gun's model, but the ejected shell is still red. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's a problem on my end. The joy of smoking cigarettes lies in more than just lighting them up, but also choosing your favorite brand, finding their packs or cartons and unpacking them, picking a cigarette, using your favorite lighter, then finally taking your first puff.
500 cigarettes.
Thanks to zzj and this mod author all the way from Kenya, New Vegas now has 8 different brands of cigarettes. They've been implemented into the Mojave in the way of packs and cartons. This is done seamlessly by using the base object swapper to swap out their vanilla counterparts. Everything is fully animated, from unpacking the cartons and opening the packs, to using your lighter to light up and smoke those cigarettes. This mod delivers the most immersive smoker experience in Fallout New Vegas to date. While other mods have tried similar features, none capture the depth of realism and interaction like this one, making you feel like a true nicotine addict in the wastelands. The mod still needs some touch-ups, and there's an unavoidable animation bug where your weapon starts floating in front of you as you unpack cigarettes. But this can be avoided by unequipping your gun before consuming the newly added items. To add on to the previous mod, Smoke for Smokers will add smoke clouds to any NPCs using the vanilla smoking animations. This will add a tiny bit of immersion when you take a smoke break with your friends, adding the last piece of the smoking experience, peer pressure. Next is another animation mod that has a permanent spot in my load order. This mod adds a new level of immersion to Fallout New Vegas by introducing animations for turning the Pip-Boy light on and off. These first-person animations are available for both the Pip-Boy 3000 and Pip-Boy 2000 Mark VI, adding a nice touch of realism when interacting with the iconic device. My only concern is how slow the animations are in the middle of a gunfight, but the author has already included the option for separate animations during combat. However, as of now, those animations have not yet been implemented, but the groundwork is there for anyone willing to add them. As of the latest update, you can now cancel the animation by pressing the aim button. And now, even the classic Pip-Boy 2000 comes with its own set of custom animations available in the optional files. I adore this mod, and I think it's a must-have for players who value immersion and attention to detail. It makes the Pip-Boy feel like a true part of your character's gear rather than just a menu screen. Moving on, one of the goats of the New Vegas modding scene has blessed us once more. Hitman's second season of the B42 Inject animation pack adds even more new animations for consuming food items. I found a few of them especially awesome, like how you use a knife to open up the can of beans, dip your fingers in paste and put them in your mouth, and open a lunchbox to consume everything and leave it empty. Lastly, customizable player idols utilizes Wombat's mod Idle Variety to allow you to choose an idle animation that plays when your character is standing still or walking. I can see how couriers would want to use this mod to take some cool screenshots or add an extra layer of personality to their character. I should briefly mention that CanVSE just had a massive update that fixes a ton of issues and bugs that previously resided within the animation animation plugin. It goes without saying that you must grab it as soon as you can. First, you've got the Classy Clutter compilation, which remodels and retextures several clutter objects within the game. The models are high poly, and the textures vary from 1 to 4K depending on the size of the object. Next, Dogs and Coyote overhaul remodels and retextures all the vanilla game's dog creatures, Legion mongrels, cyber dogs, and coyotes. It enhances their appearance with more realistic fur and anatomy, making them look like believable canines. This one will please a lot of you Dead Money fanatics. And by the way, this DLC is an absolute masterpiece. I don't care what anybody says. The mod Begin Again, Dead Money Furniture Mesh Replacers, upgrades low poly models for items like desks, beds, dressers, nightstands, chairs, and sofas within the Sierra Madre, making them richer visually while maintaining the original style. And for those that like to warm up by the fire, Special Series Fire Barrel FX drastically enhances the fire barrel's aesthetic quality, not only by having better fire textures and effects, but also adding ashes inside of the barrel. That's so
immersive.
Coming up is one of the greatest landscape retextures to ever release for New Vegas, Sandstone Desert. This cosmetic environmental overhaul sets itself aside from the rest by emphasizing a sandy desert aesthetic, staying faithful to the arid landscapes of the Mojave. The highlight of all the new textures is the detailed work on the rocks and cliffs. They are rugged and weathered, shaped by the harsh elements over time. Their surfaces are cracked, rough, and baked by the relentless sun. This mod pulls me into the blistering heat of the desert. I can practically taste the sand and feel the grains brushing against my skin. I recommend you use sandstone in tandem with rock grass, sandy roads, decent muck pools, and grass remesh. I'm usually not a fan of landscape retexture mods, as most don't seem to fit New Vegas, but Sandstone Desert has completely changed my mind. And perhaps it may change your mind too. You can add the next mod onto Sandstone for a drastic improvement in FNV's landscape graphics. If, like me, you've been looking long and hard for a proper preset for New Vegas Reloaded, then you'll be happy to hear that we saw the release of the best NVR preset this month. H2O is highly detailed and designed to make the game look a lot more vibrant. It'll work for both New Vegas and Tale of Two Wastelands. It features fully customized world space settings, including interiors, and offers a dynamic day and night cycle thanks to the Cartographer mod. The preset takes advantage of NVR's lighting, shadows, and terrain rendering, so it can be performance heavy on lower end systems. Here's my personal take on this. It looks too cute, too soft, too bright, and too colorful. This is the Desert Wasteland. It's a bleak post-apocalyptic environment, and H2O just slaps too much makeup onto it. The preset takes away from the harsh and desolate atmosphere I love New Vegas for, but there's no denying it's the best visual preset available on Nexus. Its enhancements are stunning and will undoubtedly please those who don't share my opinion. This month's mods keep getting more and more insane, and this new take on the sawed-off shotgun is more of a huge deal than you'd initially believe. The Weaponsmith double-barrel shotgun by Pistol Payback replaces the vanilla sawed-off with an enhanced version with various improvements such as rebalancing, new models, and textures. It looks so good, yet it fits the vanilla aesthetic perfectly. But the real reason you're gonna want to grab this mod is because it's finally happening, boys. Modders are now aiming to fully implement Fallout 4's Weaponsmith modification features into New Vegas, and this, I'm guessing, is the first in a long line of upcoming weapon overhauls like it. The mod transforms the sawed-off shotgun into a standard double-barrel platform, allowing it to spawn as a regular shotgun, which you can later modify into a sawed-off. It offers extensive customization options, including a choke, laser sight, various barrels, and even plasma rounds, turning it into a viable endgame weapon. Attachments come with benefits like reduced strength requirements, spread reduction, and increased mobility, allowing you to cater this shotgun to your playstyle. What I love most about this mod is the ability to dual-wield sawed-off shotguns. This is the kind of weapon mod I want to see more of. Mods that take vanilla guns and elevate them into something far more versatile and dynamic. By adding customization options, they give players the ability to personalize guns and make them adaptable throughout the game. One of the most iconic shotguns in classic action movies and FPS video games is the Spaz 12, and this mod fully integrates the Spaz Auto Custom into Fallout New Vegas in its full badassery. It's fully animated, including ammo and condition checking animations. It has full leveled list integration and TTW support. Have a listen at this thing go. You can shoot your balls at NPCs' faces with the 8-ball launcher mod. This adds a unique grenade launcher that fires billiard balls. Head into the Prospector's Saloon, find the launcher, get a handful of their balls, and call your pocket. All the balls are retrievable after you launch them in someone's face. This isn't a joke mod. The author clearly invested a lot of time and effort into crafting this weapon. It's a well-designed gimmick that fits perfectly into the game as another one of Fallout's crazy unique weapons like the Striker, which shoots bowling balls. This is yet another first for the New Vegas modding scene. One of the weapons that were exclusive to Fallout Tactics was the boomerang, and this mod drops a wooden boomerang that can be used as a thrown weapon in a wooden crate by the Goodsprings General Store. I'd love to see this mod evolve into a true boomerang experience where you can watch the boomerang soar through the air and actually return to you after each throw. Now I can finally be the feral kid from Mad Max Road Warrior. Speaking of Mad Max, wouldn't it be so fucking cool to throw those thunder sticks instead of the boring old spears? Yes, it would. With throwable explosive spears, you get over 30 new types of spears. Everything from thunder sticks to literal mini nuke sticks. There's also a pretty cool makeshift landmine made out of a broken geck. Best of all, some enemies now spawn with these explosive spears. If you thought dodging bullets was tough, wait until you see raiders lobbing explosive spears at you like it's the new Vegas Olympics. This mod is so goddamn fun, and if it wasn't for a few implementation quirks, it'd definitely be a must-have for every New Vegas and Mad Max enjoyer. Seriously, you'll feel like Wasteland Zeus throwing lightning. Just don't stand too close, or you'll be flying like Zeus too. If you're like me and you've always wanted to swing a hockey stick at Swanwick's Dome in New Vegas, then this mod right here is for you. The Wasteland Survivor Melee Weapon Pack drops 9 new but familiar blunt instruments to New Vegas. They can be found in a metal box within some ruins next to the Gene Skydiving Shack. You've got the hockey stick, Grognak's axe, The Walking Dead's Lucille, a pickaxe, the Bear Arm, Deathclaw Bone, and Mario's Hammer. They were inspired by games like Dying Light, Fallout 76, and Fallout 4. Though honestly, it looks as if they were ported over directly from those games, but what do I know? I'm just a filthy mod consumer. Each one comes with a couple of unique modifications, though they're mostly cosmetic skins rather than practical attachments. And the mod doesn't inject those melee weapons into the game's leveled lists. Not that I'd want that anyway. The weapons don't quite fit aesthetically in my opinion, but hey, at least you got to see me beat the shit out of Swanwick with them.
I won the fucking lottery, hear me? So fuck y'all!
Wombat's Titans of the New West is one of the greatest New Vegas mods ever created. It has become a staple of so many players' load orders. Its original aim was to bring back that hefty and bulky feeling of walking around in power armor from the classics. And while I'd say it already does a good job of that, I still cannot deny how much better the advanced power armor looks with this mod. True classic advanced power armor revives the iconic Remnants power armor, paying homage to its original design from Fallout 2. This mod offers redone meshes and textures that bring the armor closer to the look featured in cover art and sprites. Key improvements include a redesigned armored hump, reshaped helmet, and the addition of the Enclave insignia, all of which contribute to the nostalgia for Fallout 2 fans. While still a work in progress with plans for Tesla armor variants and world models, this mod is a great effort by a new modder. The final mod in this section adds a player home, 5 unique weapons, and 2 badass ranger outfits. Everything that comes with the mod is neatly packed within a new location near Bonnie Springs, which is said to be an abandoned NCR safe house, and 2 rogue rangers have decided to make it their home. To be honest, the sole reason I was interested in this pack is the groovy ranger headgear. I love the tassels or locks that come attached to this helmet. And I'm sure some of you watching will come up with some interesting mashups that you'll later show us in the media section on Nexus. You've heard of Simple Open Strip and Simple Open Freeside. Now feast your eyes on the Open Mojave Outpost. DM's overhaul of one of the major strategic NCR locations rids this border outpost of one loading screen by changing the trading hub and barracks building into separate open tents. And as with all of this author's store revamps, the trader's inventory is visually displayed on the shelves behind her. With the removal of one of the buildings, Ranger Ghost was given a much more fitting guard tower to sit at, placing her where a sniper would naturally be, overlooking the desert landscape. Aside from minor window realignment, the headquarters building was left untouched. Also, latrines were added to the location, so caravanners stuck at the outpost will no longer need to hold their shits. They were also given tents to sleep in when previously they would just be sitting on the ground the whole time. These changes were made by compressing the Brahmin corral. And by the way, those starving Brahmin have top troughs to feed from now. This is what any location overhaul mod should hope to be. A refreshing take on a very familiar location that preserves its original vibe and functionality. This mod doesn't doesn't drastically alter the outpost, but makes it feel a lot more believable and lived in. 𝙏𝙞𝙢𝙤𝙢 has been busy this month because here's yet another location overhaul he's released recently. Red Rock Canyon is one of those faction locations in New Vegas that I always felt was very lacking. The Great Khans are an organized group with deep-rooted tribal culture, established trade networks, and a strong unified leadership under Papa Khan. Despite this, their home base, Red Rock Canyon, feels surprisingly empty and underdeveloped. The area lacks the expected signs of a fully functioning faction headquarters, like bustling camps, defensive structures, and the kind of activity you'd expect from a group with their history of trade and warfare. And with DM's Great Khan culture, we're gonna give Red Rock Canyon a much-needed overhaul, bringing it closer to what you'd expect from the Great Khan's territory. It adds clutter like tents, fencing, pottery, graffiti, and more, creating a more lived-in and fortified feel. The hides, bones, and decorative objects really add a lot to the overall atmosphere in Red Rock Canyon. It's a great mod if you want to flesh out the Khan's presence without major terrain edits. The mod will also have fortification defenses appear along the hill after the ring-a-ding quest, which is a nice touch that makes the game world feel more reactive. It also seems like the author is considering making a patch so that this mod will play nice with FPGE. The 𝙏𝙞𝙢𝙢𝙢𝙦 Motel in Fallout New Vegas is no motel at all. It's got no rooms or even beds for the NCR lodgers to sleep in, and that's not immersive. And we're lucky to have a modder like 𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙀 who's on a mission to improve the interiors that need it with consistency in mind. 𝙏𝙏𝙢𝙢𝙢𝙦 Hotel is a hotel, does exactly what it says on the tin. It'll completely overhaul the building, turning it into a believable hotel. The lobby actually looks like one with a much more fitting reception front desk, and there's now a hallway containing 3 bedrooms. What's awesome about this is that it looks like shit really went down here. The entire place looks like it's been turned upside down. Every corpse tells a story, and the brutality of the Legion is put on display here, just like it is on the outside. The next mod is by the same mod author, so you know it's gonna be good. I've replayed Fallout New Vegas at least 50 times, and every time, Doc Mitchell has to welcome me back to life in his house, which has become more of an armory thanks to the modding community. Seriously, you guys are ruining the poor Doc's reputation. If the NCR searched his home, he'd be a convicted illegal arms dealer back at the NCRCF.
You're a damn coward.
So it's a good thing that this mod is incompatible with mods that hide guns within the Doctor's house. It offers a much-needed revamp of Doc Mitchell's house. The oversized rooms and strangely high ceilings have always felt out of place compared to the modest exterior, and this mod finally brings some consistency by shrinking the house and making it cozier. I personally love the changes. The house feels far more believable now, with windows actually lining up where they should, and the new layout gives it a homier, lived-in vibe without losing any of the vanilla items or functions. The improved lighting and subtle script tweaks add extra polish, especially moving the couch for more seating options. It's the small details that really sell it. This overhaul is a huge improvement and has earned a permanent spot in my load order. Cerulean Robotics is an interior most of us either have never stepped into or visited just the one time for the beloved sex bot, Fisto. And for this reason, most of us have never bothered enough to notice the design flaws that plague this robot shop. The lack of lighting, confusing layout, inconsistent windows, and important items like the tool cabinet key being almost impossible to find due to bad placement. For all those reasons, Agent Fuse was left no choice but to showcase his superior interior design skills and create this mod. It overhauls the interior by adding windows, improving its layout, enhancing lighting, and adding much more detail. I particularly like the added windows, cubicles, and the wall lettering at the entrance. I'm just a fan of the overall attention to detail the mod author is able to convey. I love fast travel alternative mods, and this one lets you ride trains, boats, or cargo trucks. The train stations are scattered across locations such as 𝙏𝙏𝙢𝙢𝙢𝙀, Boulder City, Novak, and many others. The mod makes some changes to the game world by restoring the train railroads, connecting them through tunnels, and removes all rubble from the railroads, making the Mojave feel more like a connected world. First, you buy a ticket from this computer terminal interface, then you fiddle with this console next to it, and a railway handcar will spawn on the tracks. Activate it, and you'll be teleported to the train station at your desired destination. Another new fast travel option is using a caravan travel radio. For 100 caps, players can fast travel to stops like Good Springs, Prim, Novak, and more. This method takes longer, and naturally, it'll burn more of your time. It's attention to detail like that makes mods come off as polished. There are also supply and troop trucks at places like Camp McCarran, Novak, and Camp Gulf, costing 125 caps per trip. As for the boats, there are a few in places such as Boulder City and Cottonwood Cove, but I couldn't get them to work for some reason. They require a bit of fuel for each time you travel. The real magic of this mod lies in how whether you're hopping on a train, radioing for a caravan, or boarding a truck, each journey feels earned. With this mod, transportation is something that must be planned and executed. It always bothered me that you can add all the hardcore survival mods you want onto Fallout New Vegas, and none of the challenges would mean anything because all you have to do is reload a save and all your problems will go away. I'm not a masochist, but one of the most important aspects of a video game is difficulty. If done correctly with the right mechanics, a challenging game is always a more immersive game. And thank fucking God that we finally got a proper death penalty mod for a Fallout game. Lime Mod's death consequences makes it so you'll lose a configurable amount of your caps on death. Not only that, but it'll also penalize you for reloading a save even if you haven't died, just to prevent you from save scumming. With this mechanic, you'll be encouraged to live with your decisions. Your choices will actually matter during every encounter. You'll take your playthrough seriously, which will further immerse you in the game's world. From here on out, you'll want to be cautious and perhaps formulate a plan before getting yourself into any kind of trouble.
Oh, you're the one Doc Mitchell was patching up. Don't think I've ever seen someone take a bullet to the head and live. You're damn lucky, let me tell you.
Good quest mods that truly feel like their content is actually part of the game's world are hard to come by, and Suspicious Minds is one of those quest mods with near-perfect writing and execution.
You haven't seen my wife Tegan, have you? She went out hunting the other day looking for coyotes. Can you look for her? She normally hunts near a cave east of town.
The author was able to create a highly replayable quest with a lot of choices, allowing you to dictate the outcome of pretty much every encounter. When it comes to dialogue, the voice acting and writing makes all the NPCs very believable. They don't talk to you like you're a player in a video game. The conversation feels realistic or organic, and it flows flawlessly.
Tegan, wait! He's not one of them. Lower your gun.
How can you be so sure, Riggs? Just because he's not wearing a jumpsuit, that don't mean he ain't one of them.
Tegan, listen to me. I know the faces of the people I did time with.
All the characters have been integrated really well into the world. The author knew how to make me care about their story and the role I played within it. I love how the quest ties into the Powder Gangers' prison escape, giving the event a bigger impact on the Mojave. The quest line also takes me to locations I otherwise would never have cared to explore, and makes good use of them too. A small detail that I really appreciated was that Duke had different lines to greet you with depending on whether you're wearing a vault suit or have aided Goodsprings against Joe Cobb's gang.
God damn it, I should have figured it would be you. The wannabe hero that took out Joe Cobb and his gang. Well, who knew? Following the creep in the vault suit would lead me straight to the man I'm looking for. Well, guess I was right all along. I knew there was something interesting about you the moment I saw you around here.
Tegan Hagen also reacts to how and when you approach her.
You! Stay the fuck away from him! I told you to stay back. You're lucky Riggs is more naive than these strangers.
This just goes to show how intricate the design of this quest is, and I highly recommend it.
Damn. Remind me not to mess with you.
The Ending Slides Redone mod takes Fallout New Vegas' iconic slideshow endings and replaces them with ones that are far more vibrant and cinematic. If you've ever felt underwhelmed by the game's default ending slides, this mod breathes new life into them with beautifully crafted high-resolution replacements, covering not just the base game but all DLCs. These new slides are vibrant with personality, and they offer an epic reimagined take on the courier's journey. Each slide is carefully crafted with Groovatron poses, effects, and art that add a ton of flair. If you're on a modded playthrough and use NPC overhauls, the mod comes in different versions to cater to various NPC mods like Drag Bodies overhauls and New Vegas redesign. When was the last time you actually sat through the ending slides? I for one haven't cared enough to watch them in a long time because I've seen all of them, but this mod may yet bring back that feeling of accomplishment and joy when you finally beat the game and get to see how your actions and decisions impacted the Mojave and NPCs residing within it. I especially appreciate how the mod authors took their time in bringing each ending slide to life by making the scene reflect what is being narrated. Their recreations are far more expressive and detailed. We got space travel in Fallout New Vegas before GTA 6. It's not what you'd expect. It's very janky, and there's nothing to do outside just piloting the ship into space and shooting lasers. But it's very creative and the first of its kind, so I'm interested to see where this and projects like it will take the New Vegas modding scene. Like imagine adding Starfield planet travel mechanics to the Gamebryo engine. Then we have a mod that adds a pilotable aircraft at the emergency railway station. I could not for the life of me teach myself how to drive this thing, but regardless, it's an innovation by the same author who previously created first-person drivable vehicles in New Vegas's engine. So, we've got robots in Fallout, right? But what if we made them sassy, stylish, and honestly, kinda hot?
Hello, sir.
Look at that bust. The melon's on this thing. And she stays in the kitchen? A woman after my own heart. This is Webb's Galtron mod, where Assaultrons meet the 50s. This mod introduces a line of lore-friendly, humanoid-style robots scattered across the Mojave and DC wastelands. You'll come across different versions of Miss Galtron all over the game world, and you'll also notice them in posters plastered all over some interiors' walls. But be warned, post-war military versions don't just serve drinks, they serve pain.
Lower your weapon and submit.
There's even an optional file that replaces Fisto with a Galtron. Sometimes their waist spheres bounce during combat. Don't worry, I'm sure that'll be patched before it gets too awkward. I really like these new additions and they fit Fallout so well, especially 3. Who knew that the future of warfare would be in heels and a feathered hat? I highly recommend this one if you want to add a bit of charm and variety to robotic creatures in your game. After finishing up and putting this video together, I found myself very impressed with everything that modders were capable of pushing out this month. So I'd like to personally thank all of those creators for their creativity and dedication to their craft. It's because of your hard work and love for the game that New Vegas will continue to live on and keep on growing into a better experience with each passing month.
YouTube. YouTube never changes. Smash like and subscribe.